but made in China.
I want something small.
The movie starts in India, where a woman named Neela is sharing a story with her son named Kid about the god Hanuman. According to the story, the monkey god once ate the sun, and as a result, the other gods took away his powers as punishment. In the present day in Yatana, a boy has grown up and becomes a young fighter. He wears a monkey mask and competes in secret tournaments at a location known as Tiger's Temple. In his most recent match, Kid suffers a defeat. He heads to the bathroom to freshen up when he remembers the night police attacked and burned his village. His boss, Tiger, shows up giving him money for the fight. Kid argues that it's only half of what he's owed and insists on getting the full amount. Tiger, however, insults him by saying he looks like a monkey and refuses to pay the rest. Baba Shakti, an emerging religious and political leader, is gaining popularity among the masses. Kid watches the news about him while sitting in a rundown restaurant. A young boy approaches Kid, asking for money in exchange for the information he needs. After paying money, he listens to Boy, telling him about a woman named Queenie who runs a place called King's Hotel, which is a brothel. The scene then shifts to Queenie, the same woman, refusing to give money to a hungry beggar. The beggar deliberately knocks over her glass of drink and manages to steal her wallet. He quickly passes the wallet through multiple hands until it finally reaches Kid, who searches it for any valuable information. The card inside the wallet leads him to a famous restaurant. Kid waits outside for a long time before a man finally escorts him to Queenie. He returns her wallet, claiming he had to fight off two beggars to retrieve it and asking for a job at the restaurant as a reward. He firmly refuses any money and is willing to do any job for as long as needed. To prove his toughness, he shows Queenie his burned hands. Suddenly, he notices a picture of his mother's murderer, a policeman, among Queenie's belongings, and he recalls the night his mother was burned. She then agrees to hire him as a cleaner at a restaurant. Kid begins his job and runs into Alfonso at the restaurant. A few days later, Kid visits a betel leaf shop and asks the shopkeeper to prepare a special betel leaf for him. The shopkeeper understands that this is a secret code and points Kid toward a nearby house. Inside that house, a man sells illegal weapons, and Kid picks out a gun that fits his plans before he leaves. During his shift the next day, Kid witnesses Queenie humiliating a young girl named Sita for complaining about the brutal clients. Queenie accuses Sita of being overdramatic and calls Kid inside. She asks Kid to face the wall and gives Alfonso a large sum of money to arrange drugs for the clients while she brings in the girls. As Kid watches Alfonso leave, he follows him and proposes they become friends to make money together. To prove his point, Kid mentions his fight club and suggests Alfonso bet on his defeat so he can ensure a win. Alfonso bets on Kid losing and ends up making some cash when Kid fights at the club. As a reward, Alfonso brings him to an upscale hall where he sells drugs to rich clients. In this restaurant, there's a menu that lets customers pick girls to accompany them. Kid sees a man leading a young girl to his room, which catches his attention. Later, Alfonso suggests giving Kid a lift in his luxurious ride, but it turns out to be just an auto rickshaw. They drive all around the city late at night. The next day, while serving drinks, Kid sees Sita, the girl from last night, sitting with a client who starts acting in a really disrespectful way towards her. This reminds Kid of the night his mother passed away. There were riots in their village, and even though the villagers were told to leave, they stayed put until everything was destroyed by fire. Kid couldn't stand watching the guy treat Sita poorly, so he hurried out of the hall. He finds a spot outside through the back door of the restaurant, and while he's sitting there, a stray dog comes up to him. He shares some of his leftover food with the dog just as Sita shows up. She comes near to him and tells him to leave this job if he can't bear such scenes. Instead of answering her, he asks about the tattoo of a quail bird on her arm, which symbolizes her desire to be singer in the future. Over the next few days, Kid spends a lot of time practicing with his gun to get better at hitting his target. He also teaches his dog to walk around with the gun and bring it to him when he calls from the back door. While he's doing all this, he keeps up with his fights and works at the restaurant at the same time, all until he feels like he has mastered his aim and is prepared for the big attack. On the last day, Kid walks into the hall with Alfonso, carrying drinks. This is the first time he gets to go into the special area where he has a plan to take out his target. As he looks around, he sees policeman Rana sitting next to Sita. Kid quietly adds some bathroom acid to Rana's drug. When Rana puts the powder on Sita's leg and sniffs it, things go wrong, and his nose starts to bleed right away. He hurried to the bathroom to wash his nose, but out of nowhere, Kid aimed his gun at him, bringing up the fact that Rana had killed his mother. Rana saw Kid's hands shaking, and he kicked Kid's hand, making the gun drop to the floor. Meanwhile, the guests hear the sound of gunfire and begin fleeing the hall in panic. The Kid is determined to take down Rana with everything he's got, but his shots keep going wide. Once again, he struggles to keep hold of a gun from another guy, and it slips right out of his grip. Rana gets the upper hand, overpowering the kid and stabbing him in the thigh with a knife. In a burst of pain and anger, the kid yanks the knife out and plunges it into Rana's back. After that, he makes a break for it, finding a way to the parking lot where Alfonso is already waiting with a crowd. The kid gets into a rickshaw, pulls Alfonso in, and speeds off as fast as he can. They weave through police vans, narrowly escaping, while a helicopter buzzes overhead, tracking their every move. Eventually, they have to stop the rickshaw and make a run for it, but the police are hot on their heels. The kid gets caught, but Alfonso manages to slip away. When the kid comes to in the police van, he's handcuffed and surrounded by officers. He attacks them before they can react, grabs their guns, injures a few, and manages to unlock the van. He bolts out and ducks into a brothel just as the police start searching for him. After a tense moment, he bursts out of the brothel and takes off down the streets, leaping across rooftops while a sniper in the helicopter opens fire. He ends up falling into the water, and memories flood back of his mother taking him to a stream when he was little, always reminding him of his strength and his ability to conquer foes like Hanuman. His mother notices the lines etched on his hands and tells him that these lines reveal his true desires in life. She inquires about his aspirations, and as he opens his eyes, he realizes he is surrounded by many faces. They have treated his bullet wounds and are now caring for him. Among them are Alpha, who urge him to stay and prepare for revenge once he has healed. Although Kid is eager to take action, he understands that the police are on the lookout for him, so he chooses to remain hidden with these new allies. Meanwhile, Shakti Baba's following grows larger every day, and his influence is spreading rapidly. Rana pays a visit to Shakti Baba, seeking to find and eliminate his attacker, but Shakti Baba advises him to disregard that and concentrate on the upcoming elections instead. Meanwhile, Kid watches the Munich celebration, where people gather around a fire, sharing laughter while Uzad Shakir plays the hand drums. Alpha notices his distress and joins him, leading him to their sacred tree, which glows with countless lamps. Alpha perceives the overwhelming desire for revenge within Kid and reminds him that his anger and pain are crucial to fueling his quest for vengeance. Alpha tells Kid that his suffering will transform into relief once he gets his revenge. To emphasize this, he picks a flower from the sacred tree and crushes it into a fine powder. This powder is meant to help Kid keep his anger fresh in his mind. Alpha then blows the powder on a Kid's face. In an instant, memories of his childhood flood back, showing him his village engulfed in flames and chaos. A sharp pain pierces his heart as he watches the destruction. Hanuman rips apart his clothes and reveals his sunburned skin, exposing the rawness of his emotions. That day, the entire village was gathered to enjoy a puppet show starring Hanuman when the police showed up, acting on Shakti Baba's orders. Shakti Baba had his eyes set on the villagers' land, so he commanded the police to remove them from their homes by force. The police started setting houses ablaze and attacking innocent villagers they encountered. Rana, who was in charge of the operation, cast a lewd glance at Kid's mother. Realizing Rana's bad intentions, Kid's mother urgently instructed him to hide on the roof and to stay there no matter what happened. In just a few minutes, Rana storms into the house and starts to inappropriately touch his mother. She pulls out a concealed knife and stabs him, but then he assaults her and orders his accomplice to set her on fire. The child, peering through a small opening in the roof, rushes toward his mother, desperate to save her from the flames, but he is powerless to help and ends up burning his own hands in the process. Meanwhile, the police ignite the entire village, and Alpha notices the burns on the boy's hands, urging him to transform that pain into strength, which he can use to fight against the oppressive system. In contrast, Shakti Baba is at home, practicing yoga in a state of tranquility. The kid starts to feel a bit better and begins to gear up for his revenge. He throws punches at the punching bag, but finds himself hesitating to keep going. Master Shakir notices this uncertainty and starts playing the hand drums to set a rhythm. The sound of the drums motivates him for a while, and the other people cheer him on as he increases his speed. However, he eventually grows tired and struggles to match the quick tempo of Shakir's drums. Meanwhile, Shakti Baba is stirring up chaos across the nation, successfully creating a divide between the majority and minority groups. In contrast, the kid pushes himself to train harder, finding peace in the beat. Finally, the day arrives when Shakir stops the hand drums, yet the kid shows no signs of exhaustion. It's clear to everyone that he is prepared for the upcoming battle. On that same day, Alpha receives a notice from the government demanding that they either leave their home or settle their outstanding debts. The amount demanded is so exorbitant that they can't afford to pay and have nowhere else to go. Kid overhears their predicament. After praying, he steals the money from the money box to help them out. Meanwhile, Alfonso spots posters announcing a fight between Monkey Man and Cobra at the Fight Club. A young boy named Lucky bets on Monkey Man's victory, handing money to a bookie. The fight draws a massive crowd, with Tiger confidently betting on Monkey Man's defeat, taking substantial bets from the public. When the fight begins, Monkey Man surprises everyone by defeating Cobra with a single kick. Tiger, eager to keep the excitement alive, insists on continuing the fight, but Cobra remains immobile despite their efforts. Tiger then brings in another fighter to challenge Monkey Man. This new fighter quickly surrenders after a few punches, and the crowd erupts in cheers, marveling at Monkey Man's strength and comparing his power to that of Hanuman. Alfonso watches the fight unfold, feeling an overwhelming sense of pride for his friend. Lucky is rewarded handsomely for Kid's victory, stuffing all the cash into a bag and hanging it on a statue. Inside the bag, Alpha finds a note reminding them to stay true to their identity on the significant day of Holi, a color festival celebrated uniquely across the nation. Meanwhile, Monkey Man seizes this opportunity to plot his final act of revenge. That night, Shakti Baba arrives at the hotel to a massive crowd, receiving a lavish welcome. In contrast, Queenie is determined to ensure everything is flawless for her guests. Rana is tasked with managing security, while Shakti takes his place in the Grand Hall. Kid sneaks into the hotel, swiftly taking down the security guards in the corridor. Shortly after, a group of masked transgender storms into the parking lot, while Kid navigates his way into the kitchen, overpowering anyone who dares to stand in his way with knives and colanders. Kid sets the area on fire and keeps moving. In the elevator, he uses his strength and smarts to take down several security guards, even slitting one's throat as he goes. Lights in the hall start to flicker off, and the elevator light blinks. When the doors open, a corpse falls out, shocking everyone. Kid throws firecrackers into the crowd, creating chaos and confusion. He fights his way through, taking down anyone who stands in his way while the guests panic and flee. The elevator doors open again, revealing more security guards ready to attack Kid. Just as he's thinking about his next move, Alpha and a group of transgender rush into the hall. Kid finds new energy, and with their help, they launch a powerful counterattack, taking down many of their enemies. Alpha tells Kid that he shouldn't waste any more time and should concentrate on finding Rana. As Kid rushes to the elevator, he spots Queenie pointing her gun at him. Just then, Sita hits Queenie on the head with a tray, knocking her down. Without hesitating, Kid swiftly cuts off Queenie's thumb to get into the secret room, as he needs her fingerprints to be verified. Kid grabs her thumb and starts searching for Rana. Rana, not taking Kid seriously, starts hitting him with full force. Kid takes a few punches, but soon gets overwhelmed by anger. He starts hitting Rana back hard until Rana can't stand up anymore. Kid pulls Rana's hair, smashes his head into the floor repeatedly, and keeps punching his face. As Kid remembers how Rana burned his mother, his rage intensifies. He kicks Rana's face with his shoes and continues to punch him until Rana is dead. Kid is once again reminded of his house burning and his tears as a child standing in front of it. The Kid is fully aware that Shakti Baba is the one responsible for all the violence and hatred around him. He takes the elevator, determined to confront the mastermind behind the crimes, and when he arrives, he finds Shakti Baba waiting for him. The Kid demands to know if Shakti Baba recognizes him and questions why he murdered his mother. Shakti Baba, however, seems unfazed, casually presenting his slippers to the Kid as if to show off his humble nature. Just then, the sound of a helicopter catches the Kid's attention, momentarily breaking his focus. Seizing the chance, Shakti Baba lunges at the Kid, using the sharp nails hidden in his hands to inflict harm. But before Shakti Baba can land another blow, the Kid retaliates and defeats him with his own deadly nails. In that instant, the Kid feels a surge of strength, reminiscent of Hanuman from the Ramayana, and experiences a profound sense of peace, envisioning himself walking on a mountain with his mother, both joyfully singing a lovely song together. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.